Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Nintendo Love Affair. I'm your host, Mark Ball, and it's great to be with you today, January 2nd, the first Saturday morning of 2016. Don't forget, you can join us here on YouTube every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the week's Nintendo headlines, as well as commentary and conversation regarding all things Nintendo. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and check back for weekly content. On Twitter, follow Nintendo Love Affair there at Nin Love Affair. That's N-I-N Love Affair. A Facebook user? Go to facebook.com/Nintendo Love Affair or simply search for Nintendo Love Affair and like the page. Either one will set you up with a daily feed of all the top Nintendo headlines. We here at Nintendo Love Affair have one mission: to spread the joy of Nintendo and help build a community around this great company and its products. This is a project by Nintendo lovers for Nintendo lovers. If there's a topic you want discussed, a question you want answered, or have an opinion to share, email us here at nintendoloveaffair@gmail.com. That's nintendoloveaffair@gmail.com. Speaking of spreading the joy, this has been a very exciting week for Nintendo Love Affair. Sean Kill joins us once again to discuss some platforming goodness. Listen in later as we talk about Rayman Origins and Legends, as well as my experience with Shovel Knight. But for now, let's get on with the news. The numbers are in for sales in Japan this week. As of December 30th, the Wii U has sold 101,000 units, and the 3DS has sold 160,000 units. Those two lead the charge. PlayStation Vita is in third place with 66,000 units sold. PlayStation 4 after that with 60,000 units sold. PlayStation 3 with 3,000 units sold. And Xbox One with 479. The Splatoon and Mario Kart bundles can be directly attributed with that success for the Wii U. Reports state that the Splatoon and Mario Kart bundles released in Japan helped boost sales of the Wii U by more than 50%. Splatoon was the fourth best-selling game in Japan, moving over 80,000 units, surpassing Super Mario Maker. To date, Splatoon has sold over 1 million units in Japan alone. Worldwide, the game has sold over 2.5 million units, making it one of the best-selling Wii U games ever. Considering that there are 11 million units out there in the wild, there have been 11 million unit Wii U's sold. The fact that 2.5 million of them do have a copy of Splatoon along with them is pretty impressive. That is a great attachment rate for that game. It has been a huge success, and Nintendo did not even expect for that to happen. So hopefully we get the numbers in for America or North America soon, and we can kind of see how our holiday went. I'm assuming there was maybe not as much of a success with sales, but I can imagine there was a spike because the Splatoon Smash bundle for $250 was a pretty sweet deal. They also extended that price to other bundles. They extended that to the Mario Kart 8 bundle as well. So you were able to get that all the way up till Christmas Day. We will get that information to you as it becomes available. Speaking of Splatoon, a recent video released by Nintendo shows off 2 brand new maps for the quirky third-person shooter. The 2 brand new maps for the game will be called Piranha Pit and Anchovy Games, 2 levels that should add to the game's longevity and impressive replay value. Nintendo has confirmed that expansions for Splatoon will end in January. The final stage and weapon releases will be this month. After that, they will continue to support online play. They will continue to rotate levels out periodically, but they will not be releasing any more content. And they should also be supporting the Splatfests as well. The news keeps rolling in for Pokken Tournament. This past week, it was announced that Pokken Tournament will feature local multiplayer. 2 players will be able to play at once on a single console. 1 player will be relegated to the Wii U pad and will use that as their input device, and they will also have to use the screen for that controller for their point of view. The second player will be able to play with a Hori Pokken Tournament controller, and they will use the television screen to as their point of view. Sadly, there has not been any confirmation or even any suggestion that 2 people will be able to play with 2 Hori controllers. And if we'll have to see if that changes, we'll get that news to you as soon as we can. But for the time being, we will have local multiplayer with 1 player using the Wii Pad and the other player using either a Pro Controller or a Pokken Tournament controller. More news has come out about Miitomo, the soon-to-be-released first mobile app from Nintendo. In case you haven't heard, Miitomo is an app that will focus on social interaction between people who put the app on their phone. You will be able to create your Mii and integrate them into your mobile platform. And the Miis that are created and put on their phones will interact for you. The genius behind this program is that you will be able to interact with people and create sort of a safety barrier, so that way you can interact with strangers and exchange information in a safe way. This is the first foray into mobile for Nintendo, and they're using it as a kickoff program or a kickoff application for their mobile strategy. Not much is known about this. They haven't talked too much about it, and it has confused a lot of Nintendo fans as to what their strategy and approach is for mobile. Many are hoping, as well as myself, many are hoping that Nintendo will get into just making games for the phone. But for some reason, they have chosen Miitomo as their kickoff application, and we will have to wait and see. There have been some reports, for those who have had access to the program, that the Miitomo app has a very distinct Nintendo feel, and it looks as if it will be free to start, meaning that you will be able to download the application onto your phone for free. But if you want to, you will be able to make in-app purchases in order to expand the content that you have within the app. There have been some rumblings that you will be able to buy clothes and accessories for your Miis. There hasn't been much more released on what else you'll be able to do with the game. Again, we're not quite sure how this Miitomo app is going to interact or how it fits into the big picture for Nintendo's mobile platform. We also don't know if there are any connections between Miitomo and the Nintendo account or your My Nintendo account. As more news on that is released, we will get it to you. Great news for all you Zelda fans out there. We've got the HD version of Zelda Twilight Princess coming out in just a few months. GameStop has recently announced that pre-orders are now available on the newest edition of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Strategy Guide. There are two versions available, the standard and the collector's edition. They will have the same content, aside from the collector's edition being a hardcover book. It will also include a cloth map of the world of Hyrule within Twilight Princess. If you're interested in either guide, again, GameStop now has pre-orders available, and you can pre-order, or you can look forward to getting the collector's guide for $19.99. If you pre-order, you'll be able to get it for half price. That's it for this week's major headlines. If you'd like day-to-day updates on all things related to Nintendo, you may do so by following us on Instagram at NinLoveAffair, that's N-I-N Love Affair, or hopping on Facebook and following us at Nintendo Love Affair, facebook.com/Nintendo Love Affair. It's Nintendo Love Affair, episode 5 with Sean Kill. And why don't you tell us what you've been playing?
Hey, first of all, I want to say thanks for having me back. I enjoyed being on the show. So, anyway, what I've been playing, my Xbox One. I've been getting into Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and I also got Killer Instinct. So, I've been diving into that since I have finished playing Ori and the Blind Forest.
I understand that you just picked up Rayman Legends, too.
Yes, that was a Christmas gift. What started with that was playing Rayman Origins for the Wii, and also Rayman Legends for the Wii U.
Hey, tell us a little bit about Origins on the Wii.
Yeah, Origins was just a really great platformer. It was a pretty game for the Wii. Obviously the Wii wasn't HD, but it was also known as one of the prettier art style games, kind of like Wario Land Shake It. But anyway,
I now have that again. I have another copy of that.
Nice. You will complete it.
I will. I'm going to beat it this time.
You may not 100% it, because that would be pretty
Oh my
hard.
gosh! Yeah, all the objectives.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
But yeah, Rayman Origins for the Wii was just a really good platforming game. Difficult at times, but brilliant,
Yeah.
And I think Rayman Legends there's just a continuation, essentially. And on the Wii U, I loved playing it with the gamepad and the touch screen. I thought it incorporated it nicely, and so now I got it for the Xbox One.
Yeah, your first exposure to Legends was on the Wii U at like GameStop.
Yes, yep. I had a little kiosk that you could play, and I thoroughly enjoyed that.
So what were some of the features that playing on the Wii U allowed you to have access to, as opposed to the Xbox One?
Well, I know on the Wii U, you could look at the gamepad screen, and I know every now and then there was maybe a big bad guy that you came across, and you could actually, I think you would actually tickle him under his arms to distract him so Rayman could pass. So it incorporated the touch screen of, tickling the guy or something like that. And then you could also cut ropes with a swipe of a finger across the touch screen. And the cutting of the ropes would just kind of progress your platforming. And it kind of just, kind of incorporated looking down at your gamepad a little bit more often than I think some of the other Wii U games do.
Wow. Yeah, and I haven't heard, aside from Super Mario Maker, that seems to be the iconic game for actually using the touchpad for the Wii U.
Oh.
I don't know of a lot of other games that have become real famous for using it. I don't know if Legends incorporates it enough to where it's a really cool aspect of the game, or if it never comes off as more than gimmicky.
Right. Yep.
But being an owner of an Xbox One, do you think you're gonna miss those little touches, or are you happy to just play the game as is?
I think if it's like Rayman Origins for the Wii, I think it will be great. And I don't foresee it being anything that I would miss a whole lot. Sometime in the game for the Wii U, maybe it's integrated awesome, more than, like you said, a gimmicky thing. I think we'll really enjoy that game.
Well, good. Well, I think you will. The Rayman games are pretty good. I had Origins on PS3 when I had one of those, and I really enjoyed that. I didn't beat it. That seems to be the trend with me in games, but I did enjoy every second I played. Ori and Rayman are a lot alike. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on Xbox titles, but that art style, if if Ori looked appealing to the Nintendo lovers out there, then I would definitely recommend getting Rayman Legends.
Definitely. Yep. It makes me think of, the word gimmicky. I loved when people always use that for the Wii. It's just gimmicky, and yet, I have to say, I played Gears of War, and there's times where my whole body and controller is moving to avoid, the bad guys, and it's like that's exactly what the Wii was for,
Yeah, it became the games became more of a physical experience.
Yeah, nothing about the Wii was gimmicky.
Well, yeah, and that's what it's a gimmick until it catches on. I mean, the joystick on the game, the Nintendo 64 controller was a gimmick until it became the norm.
Yeah, yep.
So, and then you had the dual shock controllers for the PlayStation, and the C stick for the GameCube controller, and then all of a sudden if you look at Xbox's controller compared to the GameCube controller, it's pretty darn similar, except Nintendo arranged their face buttons to to accommodate how games are played. I mean, you always had a primary button that got used more predominantly than others, so they put it in the center and they made it bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, I saw a kind of a meme the other day that it showed like the head honchos of Nintendo circled around a table, and they were discussing how to improve, how to make a better controller, and it shows them all looking down at a GameCube controller, and then in like a few panels, it shows them replacing the C stick with just another nub, like another actual analog stick, and then someone in the final frame said it's perfect. And honestly, I mean, yeah, get rid of the weird nub and just make it a second stick, and you've got yourself pretty darn good controller.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I actually received a Wii U for Christmas, so I've been putting some time into Shovel Knight. Have you seen anything about that game?
No, I haven't.
Well, this is one that I definitely think you need to pick up. It's multi-platform, and I recommended it to Jeff as well to play on his PlayStation 4. But it's a platformer. It's definitely a retro style platformer, and it is amazing. Let me just look real quick and see.
So it is on the Xbox One even?
Yeah, I think so. Oh yeah. PC, Wii U, 3DS, PlayStation 3, PS4, PS Vita, and Xbox One.
Oh wow.
This game, it is something you need to get, so that way we have something to talk about on the show. So far, the world map is set up like Mario 3, Super Mario Brothers 3, and the levels are kind of a combination of Mario and Metroid and Castlevania, and you essentially and the Mega Man even. I mean, each level, each major level has a knight at the end of it that you have to beat, and you're going across this world map, clearing levels. There's even lines that connect each level, and then there can be bad guys that spawn on the lines, and you can either avoid them or just confront them. And there are like little challenge levels. And so far, I've beaten the first two bosses, and the first boss, I think I beat in a couple tries. It was King Knight, and I actually think I beat him in 2 tries. Once I figured out his pattern, he was pretty simple to beat. But the second level, keep in mind, it's only the second level, and already there was just so much to it.
Oh wow.
It was Spectre Knight, and oh man, you never played Super Mario World, but and Koopa's
Oh,
Cat.
yes, I have.
You played Super Mario World?
Yeah, for
Okay.
the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, have you beat it?
Virtual console.
Oh, heck yeah. So you beat it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you know how in Bowser's Castle, there's a segment of the castle where the lights are out, and they have those, like, disco balls that only shine light in certain directions, and you kind of have to watch out for the little shadow spider things?
Yeah.
Okay, so they took that feature to the max on Spectre's level. There are entire sections of the level where it is dark. It's pitch black, and there's just very, very, very slim lighting to kind of shows chunks of the stage, and the only time you see is when the lightning flashes. And I couldn't quite, just playing through it this first time, I tried to identify a pattern for the lightning, but it just seemed either the pattern was so broad that there wasn't really a pattern, or there was no pattern at all, and it was just like I had to wait, and I'm avoiding bad guys. At the same time, there were these ghosts that if you hit, they would like stun, and you could jump through them. But if you didn't hit them and you came into contact with them, they would hurt you. They'd take your life away. And that's another element of it. It's like you build up hearts like Zelda.
That's cool.
And I've maxed out everything. So I have magic. I have the health that I can build up. I have these chalices that I can get filled with special abilities. There's an inventory that you can access on the Wii Pad. I have my controller set up so that way I play the game on the TV, and my inventory and diary and whatever the third thing is, the third tab, it's all on my screen so I can access the items. You're granted this fishing pole that in certain parts of the level, if you come to a gap in the ground and there's like sparkles floating above it, you know that that's a place you can go fishing. And you cast your, kind of like Animal Crossing. You cast your line, you cast the anchor down into the pit, and then you wait for the like exclamation points to appear over your head, and you got to hit the button to retrieve the anchor to reel in, and the timing has to be right. And you reel in a fish, and it gives you health and gold because it's food. So, yeah. So, I actually two things came of this. This is kind of a tip for the players out there, but when you kill a monster over a pit, the monster usually turns into gems for you to collect, and money, the currency. But if you kill them over a pit, the gems are lost. They drop down in the pit. They're gone. Well, when I was basically button mashing to kill a bad guy out of desperation, the gems were going to fall down in the pit, and I accidentally cast my fishing pole, and it caught the gems and reeled them in and kept them from falling, which was pretty cool. The other thing that I discovered it was good for was, okay, so your shovel attack, you can either attack straight ahead of you, in straight line, straight ahead of you or straight behind you, or if you jump and hold down, you do like a dive attack with the shovel, which also doubles as like a pogo jump for platforming elements. Well, there are these in the King Knights level, there are these rats that float around on propellers, and do you remember the white squid monsters from Mario that kind of move in a Z pattern? Yeah, they're very similar to that, and it's very difficult to hit them because of the way they move. They're never really right in front of you. Well, I discovered that you can actually use your fishing pole cast as a angled attack. If they're close enough, you can actually bring out the fishing pole to cast, and it will the anchor will cause damage, and then if it's even a little higher, the anchor will drop on them to cause damage. So I mean, I didn't see that or read that anywhere. That's not in the manual under any tips and tricks, but it works, and it's come in handy. I haven't been quick enough to catch any gems that were falling since that accidental one. But yeah, after 2 levels, this game has just blown my mind.
That's awesome. And then, is there 8, you said, or something?
Is there what?
8 nights that you have to beat, or...
Oh, I can't remember. I should know that, but I don't know off the top of my head. There's 8 or 9. Yep. Yeah, that's I've got Christina's playing Yoshi's Woolly World right now, so we'll have to get her. She said it's amazing. We'll have to get some more thoughts from her.
I can definitely hear her.
Yep. Well, I guess that wraps it up. We'll have to get in touch again.
This was a platform edition almost, huh?
Yeah. We'll get together again to talk about Rayman and maybe a final review on Shovel Knight and maybe even one on Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Sean.
Hey, you're welcome. Hopefully we have a lot of hits with this one.
Yeah. May our 2016 be great. Well, that about does it for this episode of Nintendo Love Affair. We hope you enjoyed what we had to offer. We'll be giving you the latest news updates throughout the week on Twitter and Facebook. Please join us here again next Saturday for a recap and more discussion about all things Nintendo. See you then.